Welcome to El Profe's Classroom. Class is in session, and we actually have another teacher on board here, another professor. We are joined here by Brady from, he has his own channel, but he's also joined us a lot in the Is It That Bad in the Chill Dude on the Couch. We've also recorded some, some videos about Mastodon. We did a
Nerded
whole
out,
deep dive.
nerded out about Mastodon for like
I
an hour
mean,
and a half straight.
I listened back to that episode. It was fun.
Yeah,
It was a fun time talking about Mastodon. But for tonight, we're gonna be doing episode two, season one, episode two. I'm using like the season names
I like it. Yeah,
to change. Eventually, season two might be albums specifically, or maybe movies, or I'm still deciding what it's gonna be. But the first season is favorite songs. Anatomy of a favorite song. Uh, so I have Brady here. For some context, he has his own YouTube channel, like I said, and he's a musician. I've heard his music; he's pretty good. I like it. Um, and what was the name of the band again? Just so I don't get it wrong.
yeah. So it's Omentor.
Oh,
So it's,
Mentor.
uh, it's
Yes,
it's Omen, and Mentor put together.
Omen and Mentor. I'm gonna put it all in the description. Um, so first of all, Brady, what is your criteria for choosing a favorite song?
That is a very good, difficult, but complicated question. Um, with this one, I'll use this song as the example, I suppose, right? With this one, like I think it became so impossible to actually pick a favorite song of all time that I narrowed it down to a few contenders and just picked what I thought would be the most interesting one to talk about, which is
Okay.
it's I could I it's I've said before like, oh, this is my favorite song, but when you actually think about it, it's such a difficult question. At least for someone like me, like who is like lives and breathes music, like talks has my own YouTube channel to talk about music. Like it's a very difficult question. So far, I couldn't narrow it down to just one. But this is definitely of all my possible contenders, the most interesting song I want to talk about.
I
So
mean,
I guess that's
if
my
you're
criteria.
if you're a little bit like me, my favorite song switches
Yeah.
hourly, basically.
That could be too. Like, yeah, that could be too. So I guess another good thing to bring up and as an answer to that question is it's got to be like all these contenders are songs that are very very special to me. Like have a place in my heart forever. Whether it's just because of like the time period they came out and when I first listened to them and like what I now associate with them. Um, it's mostly things like that, but just overall impact a song has had on me. So for a song to be a contender on this list, I must have at least been a fan of it for like 5 years, which I think is actually the case with this song. So like that'd be like the minimum. So yeah, I guess that's another reason why talking about this song is interesting to me personally. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think for criteria.
I mean, that's usually a good criteria, something that really, touches you, but also, something that's interesting to talk about as well. Um, what so tell us what is your favorite song for this? What did
Yeah.
you pick?
Yes, I picked "To Carry the Weight" by Times of Grace.
To Carry the Way by Times of Grace. Like I said before, we were talking a little bit before as we started recording, and I never heard of Times of Grace before. I don't think I'd even heard of them as a band. Probably because I've never been in that scene of the metalcore. That scene, that genre is not
They're
one of those
they're
that I
they're
know
a
a lot about.
true hidden gem of that genre. So like unless you were really into the scene, like it totally makes sense that you had not heard of them.
I have heard the band that a lot of these members met in this is basically a side, I would say, a side project
It is. Yeah.
from members of Killswitch Engage. I think probably one of the most well known metalcore bands that
Oh yeah.
you can probably think about. It's you think
Oh,
metalcore, it's like
mhm.
just a couple of bands that come up, and Killswitch Engage is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Um, but what was interesting was I started this. This is from the album from 2021, Songs of Loss and Separation. This is their second album, if I'm not mistaken, and this is definitely not metalcore at all, which surprised me a lot when I started listening to it because I was expecting it to be, traditional metalcore, and when I listened to this, I was completely surprised. Um, what was it especially about this band that made you listen to it in the beginning? What was it that attracted you to listening to this band?
Well, it's easy. I was a big Killswitch Engage fan already. That's it was and that's probably gonna be the easiest answer I have for this entire video. I was already a Killswitch fan. As far as me and Killswitch go way back, but that's too long for me to talk about in this video. But this was yeah, like you said, this is the band's second album. It's the album that I got into them with. I heard this one before I heard the first one, The Hymn of a Roker Man, which is also an amazing record. But yeah, I got into this one. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I was a Killswitch Engage fan. That's the main reason. That was my main draw to them. And then I heard the lead single at the time was the track "The Burden of Belief." That's the
Okay.
from that record, "Songs of Lost and Separation." And I remember thinking like, wow, this is so different from Killswitch, but it's so good. And it's already two artists that I fucking love, two of my favorite musicians of all time, Adam D and Jesse Leach. So it was still like the fact that these guys were doing it, it's like this different of a sound. I was stoked. And yeah, the album, I love the entire record. This is my favorite song from it, but this is easily like a top 20 album of all time for me.
Oh wow. Okay. So this is even the whole album is something that really and I can get it. I understand it because um you can I don't I never heard the first album, the hymn of a broken man. But like I said, I have heard Killswitch Engage, but this was something so far removed from that, and totally surprising. And this song specifically, we'll talk about the song a little bit in detail later, but um, the vocals here are incredible. And the production is so good, and but this is the whole album. I love the mixture between the vocals in
Yeah.
the whole album. What was it? Jesse Leach
Yep.
and I think it's Adam D.
Yeah. Adam
Yeah, yeah.
D.
They interchange vocals really well in during the whole album,
Mhm.
and and it. I'm telling you, it really surprised me, and I said this as in the last episode with Lord as well. Caught me completely by surprise, which is I think what I like about doing this and hearing people's favorites when I haven't even heard of the band. Discovering something new. I think it's probably the best thing about doing videos like this. And I'm sure you like, yeah, as somebody who loves music. Suddenly discovering something new.
Yeah. It's
It,
no
it's
better feeling.
awesome. It's a great feeling.
Yeah. Absolutely. Totally agree.
So let's talk about this song specifically. To carry the weight.
Yes.
Um, this is the eighth. I think it's the eighth. Oh wow, that's a hard word suddenly for me to pronounce. Eighth song in the album. Um, what was it specifically about this song that really called to you?
It's just I think the this is just such like a beautiful sounding song to me. It is lyrically, sonically, in its melodies. It's just such like a beautiful, emotional, powerful song, and it actually the album as a whole it didn't grab me on the first listen. When I first listened to it, I needed at least a few listens, and this ended up being one of the songs that really stuck out with me once I let the album grow on me. So yeah, it wasn't instant, but like I remember it's one of those songs where like you aren't really thinking about it and it just hits you. It hits you and then you're like, wow, like that was really powerful. And then that's what it was for me. And then I kept listening to it and it has grown on me ever since. With each year that passes now, it's still a song that like it hits me so hard every single time I hear it. So yeah, that's it. It hit really hard emotionally for me in every way possible.
I mean, lyrically, it's a very emotional song, and obviously musically as well. And I think they, I, what really blew me away about this song was how they were able to play with your emotions in a way that you're. It's a soft song at first. It starts very softly with beautiful vocals from, I think that's Jesse Leach who sings the leading vocals. Beautiful vocals, and a soft guitar. It starts very softly, and then there's some moments. I think this is probably what I like the most about this song. There's some moments where you feel like there's gonna be a switch and there's gonna be some heaviness, and then they pull it back. There's some moments where they give you it's not it's, there's no heaviness in this song, but there's some grit to the vocals, and then when he turns that grid on, it feels like there might be heaviness, but they sometimes I would have loved to hear that heaviness, but in this song, that giving me the anticipation and then pulling me back, and I'm like, oh yeah, it worked. I think it works perfectly how they did it. Definitely, as the I think probably one of the most memorable songs in this album. Definitely. Um, I think probably the only thing I would say, and it's not about this song. It's more that this song probably would have served better if the album was not as soft and as slow. If this song had been in a more heavier album, and then suddenly this came out, and you're blown away by this musicianship, and then the beautiful vocals, it would have been surprising. But since all this album, the whole album is very soft and very very melodic and very, then the song after this one, I don't remember it now.
Cold, cold.
Cold. It's also another very very slow song, but I don't think it's as memorable as this one. I don't think it hits as hard as this one. But that's just my opinion, knowing nothing about it and listening it for the first time this time. Um, so yeah, but I think I think it's a great song. It really is. And I was completely blown away by it and surprised by it. So yeah. Uh, what uh, did you feel like you connected in some way to the message of this song with the lyrics?
Oh yeah. Yeah. At this point, so this is what early, like late summer 2021. So yeah, I don't, it's just I've struggled with mental illness before, and I think that was sort of not quite in the middle of, but towards the one of my lowest points. So I was kind of coming off of it, and I don't know, maybe it hit in regards to that. But yeah, I mean, it's basically saying it's like a love song. Basically, it's saying like he would carry the weight for you. That's the message of the song. Like he wants to, you know. So it's a very like very powerful, very like endearing message that I think is relatable to a lot of people in regard whether it's you feeling that way about somebody and you loving someone like that or the desire to be loved like that. I think the song is relatable from both perspectives. So yeah,
Totally,
that's
totally agree.
yeah. So yeah, I totally think I identify with the message with it. Yeah.
No, and definitely, that's probably what hit me the most. I think the idea, because you're used to hearing songs about how you're going through tough things, and from what I read, this was a very personal album for the band. For I don't know the reasons. I didn't do that much of a deep dive, but I did read that this was a very very personal album for them, and you can definitely tell.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
you can feel it, and that's for me a sign of good musicianship. To be able to, even if I didn't hear the lyrics, or understand the lyrics, uh, there's the music tells you. what it's about. And it shows you. Um, but the thing was interesting to me that if it was, well, like you said, the difference between, it's about me feeling like I could have done more to help a friend.
Yeah,
It,
I can see
it,
that. Yeah,
it I felt like it was this thing about you know love, like you said, loving somebody so much that you don't want them to
Mhm.
feel any pain
Mhm.
or burden, like just like that weight.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll carry it for you. I'll try. I'll help you. Uh, and I think we've all felt like that at some moment
Mhm.
for somebody close to us, maybe family, maybe friends, maybe loved ones. And I think it's a very universal message, and I think it's a universal message that's packaged beautifully with the music and the and the whole thing. I think it's. I mean, you really picked a good one here. uh,
Thank you. I'm glad you think so. That's awesome.
yeah, yeah.
More
It's
more people more people should know about this song. The more people that know about this
oh
song, the better.
yeah, definitely. I agree. This is a band that I'm definitely curious to see what they come up with next. This album came
I
out
hope
in.
so. I hope so. They it's been I think it's been up in the air whether there or not there will be a third time's a grace record, but
Okay.
I would highly recommend the first one too, the Hymn of a Broken Man. That's like that's probably also in like my top 20 albums of all time. I love the shit out of both of these records. That one is a bit more metalcore, like in line with Killswitch, but there's still a
Yeah.
few more like kind of departures where it's a similar sound as this record. So it's a good balance. But yeah, highly recommend that one too.
I mean, there was a 10-year gap
Yep.
between first album and the second album, so maybe 10 years down the line they need to release some new stuff.
Yeah, the really interesting thing about the first record in particular is that Adam and Jesse made that album when Howard was still with Killswitch Engage. So Jesse wasn't even in the band at this point. They had broken. So Jesse
Oh,
was with them for their first two albums. He left. He was replaced by Howard Jones,
okay.
and then Howard Jones left, and Jesse came back. This record, this Times of Grace record, it was recorded when Howard was still with the band. So it's a really interesting dynamic when you think about it.
Yeah,
And then
yeah, no,
and then
that's interesting.
and
I didn't know.
this is then 10 years later, which at this point Jesse had been with the band. But
Been
yeah,
with the band all that time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's a very interesting. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me that that first album helped to be like the bridge to coming back, right? This is like, I mean,
it basically was. Yeah, I think it was in a way.
we can still do this thing, and and
Uh-huh.
and, and it's good. So so yeah. I mean, I don't know what else. It's a great song, but it's musically it's a very I don't want to say simple, because it's not that it's simple. It's that it doesn't need to be anything more than you know
Yeah,
as
it's straightforward. It's a straightforward song. I think
it's
is what you're exactly.
straightforward, but like in terms of the music, it's very straightforward.
Mhm.
But in terms of the feeling, the emotions, the all the things that aren't quantifiable by just somebody technically saying, yeah, I can do that. Obviously a lot of people can imitate this stuff, but giving it that gravitas, that feeling, that emotion, that is, I think, what music is about. And I think if a band that I didn't know, and I listened to the song before listening to the album because I wanted to hear the song by itself, and I was like, it was like, oh, goosebumps.
Yeah,
This is good.
yeah.
Uh,
It's
so
it's a super powerful song, and this is one of the songs that like I've showed it to several people, and nobody has disliked it. Like it's one of those songs that every person I've showed has just been like, wow, that was really good. Like even people that don't like rock or metal. So that there's not many songs I can say that about, but this
I'm not
song,
I'm, I'm not surprised by that, and I'm not surprised, but because it just has it. It has it. we've been in videos before where I've been critical of rock ballads.
Yeah.
I don't.
Me
I
too.
find them cheesy sometimes.
Yeah.
Most of the times I found them cheesy, but uh, there's just something about this one. It feels like it. You can feel it, and I think it's one of best compliments probably you can give to to a musician about their music, and or an artist in
It's a
any
very
kind of.
it's a very raw song overall. I think Jesse went on record saying he like cried after recording vocals for the song. Like he broke down crying after recording these vocals.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure he said that in an interview. I think.
that does not surprise me at all. It's some great vocals there. Um, so
Another
is there?
point, another point I want to make too.
Yeah,
You brought up the instruments on the record, like the actual music. That's another thing. Like I feel like this song would probably deliver its message like not probably not maybe not the same, but almost just as much, even if the vocals weren't there. Like that's how good the melodies are on this
oh
song.
yeah,
Like I think they stand alone. I think an instrumental version of the song would be also extremely powerful. Um, just I don't know all of them, but especially it's for me like the most memorable one is that last one where it's just like when the music all drops out at the end and you get those tender like that tender melody. Like I don't know if it's I think it's a clean guitar, just synthesized sounding. But it's just that melody is just perfect. Like that alone exemplifies everything I'm saying about just the music on this song.
yeah. I completely agree with you about this song. I'm glad I was able to find it. Find it. Not find it. You showed it to me. To be able to hear it for the first time. And I think about stuff like this all the time. I probably would have hated this back in 2010. It's one of those things where I've always said that
We're all
artists.
closed-minded at some point in time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I've always said artists make you make a song, you make an album, you make a piece of art, you make a movie, you make a book, you write a book, and you write one that's your version that you wrote. But for somebody else, for a listener, or for somebody who's watching it, it could be 20, 50, 100 versions of one song, because you don't know what you're going through at that moment that might change how you perceive a song.
Yeah.
uh, and maybe 2010 I wouldn't have been mature enough to enjoy this song, but I listened to it now and I was blown away. So I think that's the beautiful thing about art, uh, how it can evolve with just things
Yeah.
that happen to you.
Perfectly said. Yeah. Absolutely. Perfectly said.
So is there anything else that you would like to share about
I
this song?
mean, it's a really special song to me now. I think I was this was also around the time like I really got into this song and this album around like the time I went back to college, and that was just like a whole new setting for me. I commuted there. It was like 2 days a week, but um, I like I don't know. It was a whole new setting. So like that album just would perfect. It just perfectly fit that setting, and that's now a very nostalgic time to me now. Just looking back, like, and this album will like forever be the soundtrack to that. So
Nice.
that's something I gotta shout out with this record. It holds a really special place in my heart just because of what I was kind of what I was doing around the time it came out, and like I had so much fun like that first semester of college, and yeah, so that also is maybe where my bias towards this song stems from a little bit. And aside from that, the whole both of us have mentioned, I think so far, like the entire record is amazing. After this song, I think "Far From Heavenless" that's another track that I considered for this same spot. To carry the weight wins slightly, but that's again is a phenomenal, one of a kind, like super special song. Like, I've never heard any other song that sounds like that, and it just has such powerful message. It's so poetic, like it has this like irresistible mood to it. So I have to shout out that song too. And the others on this record, like I like. both Times of Grace records is funny because I love both entire records, but there's one song on each of them that I don't like. And with this one, I don't like the track Medusa. And then
Okay.
on the first one, there's the opener Strength in Numbers. That song does sound just like a Killswitch Engage B side. But aside from those two tracks, every song this band has done is amazing. Like they have that's it. That's the best compliment I can give in regards to their music as a whole. And especially if you're a Killswitch Engage fan, you haven't checked them out yet. Like, what are you doing? Like, check them out right now. But if anybody, regardless of like if you're into metal, if you're not into metal, like at least give at bare minimum give this song a shot. But overall, like Times of Grace is just it's such beautiful music. It's like to me one of a kind. Like yeah, those with like nothing else. So it's so unique and it's just great music. Two phenomenal albums and at least one phenomenal song. So yeah, those are my
I
closing thoughts.
I second all that you said. I'm glad I was able to listen to this album and especially this track. I hope more people find this band because I think they do great music, and you know that's all you can hope for. When you
I'm crossing my fingers for a third record. I'm not sure if we'll get it, and that would suck. But I'm crossing my fingers for a third Times of Grace record.
well, I would like to thank you, Brady, for joining me for this second episode of Anatomy of a Favorite.
Yeah, of
And thank you for sharing this music with me. Uh,
course.
tell us your socials so people can find you.
Yeah. My channel name is just my name Brady Fugel Fugel. On YouTube. I'm on. I don't really use my Instagram, but I'm I'm on Instagram too. I have my band, Omentor. It's really my solo project. I do everything on it, all the instruments, all the vocals, all the writing, producing everything. So it's my brainchild. And yeah, that's me.
That's awesome. And that, but all that by itself, it's for me, it blows my mind to be able to to do all of those things by yourself. So I think that's highly impressive.
Thank you.
Uh, I would never even imagine how how hard that must be. Um, but thank you very much for joining me. Listen to this song and listen to this band because you're not gonna regret it.
Do it.
Um, so that's about it. Class dismissed.